Howdy. We're good now.
we have volume now. We may be a little bit late. There were some technical difficulties with our restream. Somehow we had been logged off. I think it was just the fact that, we don't fuck with it. It's a plug and play. So because we don't fuck with it and it's a plug and play, it was like, yeah, you proved to me that I'm useful. But welcome to Thursday Night Live. As you can see, Mr. Chris Davis is with us again this week. We're going to get into the topic here in just a moment. But letting you guys know, we are going to be at the Central Kentucky Mystical Market this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, both 11 to 6 on Saturday. And let's call it what it is. It'll be 11 to 6 for us on Sunday. Technically, the event closes at 5, but we'll probably be there until 6. Come on in, get your handshake, your high five, your hug. They're always free. Get you some energy work, your cards flipped, get an appointment for a paranormal consultation, or for a past life regression, soul fragment retrieval, or guided meditation. Next week, we're going to continue the series of Divining 101, and the following week, the last one of the month. So the 28th, we're going to be doing Tarot Night Live. Stop by, get on the list. Readings are always free. Unless you donate stars, then you're bumped to the top of the list because technically you are a paying customer at that point. I think that's about it. Oh, thank you guys for voting on the poll, for the classes for the 300s coming up in September.
The poll.
The poll.
The poll. But we now know exactly what it is that you guys are expecting in September. We are guaranteed to be doing the psychic vampirism class that has already been asked for by a lot of people that probably didn't see the poll. And it looks as though the next two were the ones that we were going to be offering any fucking way, which is the Seals and Wards class with Mr. Davis. And I think the front runner was the entities and attachments class.
By a lot.
So
it wasn't close. It was a lot.
It was a lot.
I saw it. I was like, whoa, that's all right. There's the direction.
We can definitely make that one happen. And might be able to teach it with a couple of interesting twists and turns. I'm pretty sure the people that took it last time were not expecting what it is that was provided. So we'll see what we can do for you.
I could provide some goodies for that class.
100%. So we may have Mr. Davis as a special guest lecturer on that one as well. Could you imagine? Could you people imagine me and Davis mainlining a entities and attachments class? So if you guys want to see that happen, let us know in the comments, and we'll make sure to have a very special workshop for you guys coming up the second weekend of September.
And just as a reminder, that is speaking of drums, so the second weekend of September is the 13th, is the 12th, 13th, and 14th. So that's when our classes will be, just as a heads up. And yes, in the comments, if you would like to see Mr. Tyree
dress in drag for Tarot Night, he still has 2 weeks to get himself all prettied up and gussied and dolled up for you fine folks who have been religiously, I might add,
putting flames
every single video, whether it's a live stream or a posted video, there have been flames in the audience just for you. I haven't even called out for them in a little bit, and they just put them up. Here's flames for Tyree, and I'm like, so the system does work. Also, Davis, for you, a couple people including the Jeff, have found some drum emojis for you.
I saw that.
Yeah. You have shades.
Oh no, that's awesome. All right, so this is how people are going to let us know in the comments exactly. You know, drums and shades. If you want to see me and Davis, full Blues Brothers through an entities class. We're on a mission from God.
Yeah, and Tyree can tell you, I have an egg carton in it. Sounds innocuous, but I have an egg carton full of stones that are real fun.
Yeah. Tiffy said, I want to see Hugh Davis and Old Schaefer teach that class. Woo.
Jesus. I mean, one day when, my heart can take it and Davis can leave his house, we will make that happen. Until that day, everybody's just going to have to dream.
Shades and shades and drums in the comments.
Shades and drums in the comments.
Hey, go to the flames.
Flames for Tyree.
As there's just a wall.
You're not escaping the fate, Tyree.
No.
I'm not. I know I'm not. I opened my mouth and inserted a foot and it went up my ass.
I mean,
How'd it go?
So you
up
quenched your
ass?
own thirst with the water on your knee from swallowing your foot deep enough?
jeez.
Been there, done that.
Same all the time, actually.
I get dargans. Little greenins.
Go to Greenans, Green Dargans.
You.
Ugh.
Thanks to everybody in the comments. And hello to everyone.
Hopefully you guys, we're just having a little bit of fun while everybody piles in a little bit. We're going to get started here in just a minute on Evocation. Last week we did Invocation. If you missed the episode, you can catch it on YouTube. We do recommend that you guys swing by the YouTube, give it a subscribe. Yeah, it's the same old shtick, slog, filth that you have from any other YouTubers. But in
Like
this
and subscribe. Hit the notice bell for notifications.
anyway, kill me. But
not if you like and subscribe.
not if you. Oh no, do not put that out there. Do not put that out there.
Brought to you by Squarespace.
Do not put that out there. But
Not
in
really,
all
not
honesty,
really. We're not calling Squarespace out.
We are not.
Oh, the ticker's up. We're good.
All jokes aside, though, the reason why we're asking you guys to go and subscribe is if you're wanting to catch earlier episodes or even ones during the month that you might miss, that is the where to actually the only where.
The only wear.
The only where. Wow, there's that stroke.
Is there underwear?
Somewhere.
Bare Naked Ladies they made you say that. That's what happened.
It is. It is the only place that you can actually find the backlog of videos. ADHD aside for a moment, that is the only place that you can find our backlog of videos. The reason being is Facebook has a new rule where they will only keep your stuff for 30 days. After that, regardless of what content it is wiped from the platform.
So more
So
like 30 nays.
pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're wanting to catch our live streams, our videoed classes, our webisode investigations, Arrow Nights, different things like that, go by and do the thing.
Caffeine.
Calf.
I can't say anything. I'm slamming this monster that's very sad but is trying its best.
Aw, little buddy.
It is. It's the little energy drink that tried.
Energy. Yep, it's the energy. It'll get you every time.
So y'all want to talk about that Evocation?
Fuck, I don't know if I can. I apparently can't English.
That's okay.
Anybody
you don't
else?
need that for fucking Evocation.
Anybody else smell burnt toast? Taste pennies? Hear rushing water?
Yes, all the time.
Oh, nice. Well, then I'm not alone.
That's called a 9 out of 10 out of.
Oh, jeez, Jesus. Oh, it's been a week, y'all. Bear with us. And just letting everybody know, Brian, for those that this will be the last thing on this. but Brian will be back soon to join in on these. He's been schooling number 1 and getting the kids back into schooling number 2, and has been nursing a busted leg 3. So he goes tomorrow to get his work release. So fingers crossed and everything that he's able to get back up and going. But Evocation. So you guys liked the podcast style format that I did with Davis last week. So we're going to do the same thing this week. So kind of a call and response. We'll talk a little bit, but it's going to be mostly me asking questions and him giving the answer. So last week we talked a lot about invocation, right? Which, is about bringing in a presence. We're drawing something to. And what is evocation in relation to that?
No, well, where invocation would be calling in, evocation would be calling forth or calling to. And interestingly enough, again, like we had said last time, they're both kind of related. It's just direction of where it's going. I think that the evocation is probably more in people's minds than invocation, because evocation is what you see in a lot of movies, because that's where you come in with conjuration. I'm gonna draw me a circle and I'm gonna summon me something. That's typically what you see in a lot of the pop culture media and horror themed movies, that people will read a book and say, I'm gonna summon bacon, and they summon bacon, that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's why people probably more easily can relate to that one versus invocation, because it's covered differently. That's more you see like in the mediums where they're at the table and they have the table tilting and the eyes slip back. That's more of the invocation, whereas you create a circle and put something in it. That's more of the evocation.
So I've heard a lot of people, at least as far as invoking and evoking. Evocation, getting into conjuration, of course. I've heard people use it in explaining summoning as well. Would that be correct?
Yes, they're tied to, because you're calling it forth from wherever it's at to where you're at. That's why the idea of the circle is, I want to call it in, but I don't really want it to come beat my ass. So let me put this safety net around and put it in there, because then I can have a conversation and it not beat me.
Yo, let's lock this dog in this fenced backyard.
Yep.
So, what are the actual uses for evocation? We talked a little bit about invocation and how people use it for petition, use it for prayer, use it for beckoning on presences of things like angelics for protection, different things like that. What would you use evocation for specifically?
Common use would be, for example, somebody wants to talk to a specific entity of some kind. But they don't really want to put it inside their meat suit. They just want to be like, hey, I make a phone call and you come out here and sit and talk with me. That would be an instance of evocation where you could, if you want to use a summoning circle, whatever you want to do with that, that's one way to bring them to where you're at to have a conversation, but not putting them directly inside of where you're standing.
So with this, excuse me, and I'm trying to make it relatable. So would this be specifically for darker things, or could this be used for lighter things as well, or even more abstract things like fey natured?
It's neither light nor dark. It's simply a tool.
Dad
Like
put
a
the
match.
comments-
A match can light a fire that warms you up, or you can, eviscerate your enemies, cook your food, burn down a forest. It's simply a tool.
True.
One of the comments is Davis looks like he's evoking a nap. That was from Dad. So,
I have
for
been
instance,
yawning nonstop for the last half hour. I have no idea why.
well, but would that technically be, a solid use of that? A solid use of evoking.
Call forth awakeness.
Call forth the
No, wait,
weakness.
that'd be invoking it
Weakness.
because I'm trying to get the weakness inside of me. So that would be
Full invocation. Gonna slam this potion and invoke the presence of caffeine so that I can evoke an existence of being awake.
Hmm?
Uh,
But for instance, like where you see with like using spirit board would be more of the invocation because you become the pen to the thing that wishes to write. The evocation will be just calling it to your general location or to a specific location to be able to communicate. That's typically where you see it most often.
So would you potentially have the same issue with like an open Ouija board with evocation?
Same, you'd have the same thing either way because you don't do things correctly, then you're still going to have a problem.
invocation would be channeling with a Ouija board. So whatever comes through is allowed to body jump you and speak. Whereas evocation is locking it to the presence of the Ouija board, so leaving it open allows it to walk free.
Yeah, so if you were like evoking and then you didn't set the intention that, breaking the circle, breaks the contact here, then you just opened the door and said, have fun.
Cool, I called you to this plane. Go fuck it up or whatever.
Yep. And that's what you see typically is the trope is that I'm going to summon something, go do something I want's done. And then they do that, and then it does them too.
Yep, I want my freedom. I did your thing. Let me go. Well, that's not how it works. No, 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 no. That's how it works.
That's how it's going to work.
Uh-huh. And never said it was safe. Just said it would work.
Mhm.
Um,
So what are some best practices with evocation? Obviously, having that boundary and barrier, but would you recommend anything else to do things the ideal safe way?
The ideal safe way would be defining a perimeter that you want to have it able to move in. So that's where typically circles would come in. Not a bad thing for that would be like, say, a yoga mat. You could draw on that and roll it up. If it's something you're going to do regularly, like if you want to, say, contact your spirit guide, and you want to call them there so you can talk to them that way instead of it being inside your meat suit, you can do that. Having your own protections that you wear, sigils that are for protection, that's another thing you could do to just add layers of prevention of negative things happening.
So say you have, in theory, chosen to let something of a more typically negative depiction jump your meat suit.
Mhm.
Could you potentially use evocation to get that out?
Yep, I was going to touch on that. That's a very good question. I was thinking about when to bring that in. So, for example, when you see generally about exorcisms, that's what you're doing. You're calling it from the place where it's at. And usually you'll have something around the person and you're calling it into that space where they're at, but then out of them. That way that when you break it, then you can dissipate what's there.
Yep. It's the reason why we usually tell you guys that an exorcist is more like a lawyer or a hostage negotiator. What you're finding the loophole in the contract, and then you're literally negotiating for that hostage's release.
Yep.
If the hostage taker has no ransom and knows they're not going to get any ransom, there's not a need for their hostage. So you have to negotiate their safe release. And that's the big thing, is making sure that they're released safely. Evocation is literally the process of doing that. A lot of times, and even in pop culture, trying to use references that people would get. Usually, if you're watching an exorcism, and typically this is actual practice, but if you're watching exorcism in a movie, say, well, The Exorcist or The Rite or any other, The Exorcism of, any of that, you're going to see that they lock the person and the pastor, priest, whoever, And the assistant, so the assisting people in a room, no one leaves. No one leaves. That's not how that works. We're staying in here. It's Thunderdome. All these people enter, one motherfucker leaves. That's how it's supposed to go. Because what happens is as the prayer begins and the rite begins, that room becomes consecrated ground. It's sanctified. It's separated from the house, from the diocese, the building, whatever. It's separated so that this thing has to cross a partition in order to leave. And if it's not given permission, guess what? It stays the fuck in the room.
Mm.
That's
And
one
a
of the
lot people
bigger
don't realize
reasons
there's a whole
why.
there's a back end group that works usually with the exorcism that you do not see. You don't realize that they're there because that's not part of it that they are supposed to see.
Yep.
Most oftentimes when there's an ordained exorcism happening, there's a group of several people that are usually higher clergy that are nonstop doing prayer at another location and focusing on that location to sanctify the ground. And that's part of the army that's not being seen because it never gets depicted in the movies, but that's absolutely happening.
So interestingly enough, if we're doing that, if you're putting the two into practice, so talking about last week and this week, exorcism is the process of doing both.
Hmm.
You are invoking from a particular holy spot, typically a church or a chapel or some kind of holy ground. You are beckoning to God, to your creator, their flavor of God, this archangel. You are calling to a holy host of some kind to actually come into that space. And
And act
then
through you.
go ahead.
And act through you.
Yep. And then literally on the other side, knowing that the prayer warriors, as a lot of Christians call them, are doing their particular bag, as the priest goes into rite, he's literally, okay, I'm ready. Let's go. Takes on the invocation of the prayer warriors, knowing that their faith is backing his or hers, and then uses evocation through that presence. In the name of, I command you. And that's where you start to see usually what they film in movies and pop culture. That's where you usually start to see that part of it. Although The Exorcist, they did a really good job with that because the uncut version actually has both sides of that. And also in the movie The Rite with Anthony Hopkins, they did it there too. So that's why we usually use those particular movies, because are they 100% real? No, they're Hollywood, but they are based on actual events, like can actually be found in record. But yeah, I think it's pretty neat, actually, the whole process there.
Yeah, and it's Supernatural. If anybody's seen that one, they have it again. It's CW Hollywood, so that's even further out than just regular Hollywood. But where they draw the circles and summon things to them, that is the evocation. When you see him cast a demon out of a body and you see the smoke come out, that's the representation of it being called out of the body. So you're calling it forth from that. And you usually have a secondary group of people that are, focusing or, reading the word or reading the rites, that they're invoking the power of deity to help expel that particular entity.
Yeah,
And that's why there's usually, when they have it, it's a lot more of a process because you have to organize the people, the locations, all these pieces have to come together so that way that you have all the pieces that you need. Can you do it one person? Absolutely. But in your more ordained exorcisms, there's absolutely a back end that you don't see.
It's amazing what actually goes into a true exorcism, uh, because you've got multiple priests, both on site and not, because it's usually not just the two in the room. There's at least one other that's in the house, blessing the house while everything is going down in the particular sanctified space. You also have people that are there to record, to make notice, complete skeptics that are there, doctors, physicians that are there. All this is happening in the same home, same space. You've got all these people just there for one person.
That's really wholesome, actually.
And then off-site, you have everybody that's working in the cathedral, the church, the, chapel, whatever, that are doing the same. And what's really interesting is being privy to a couple of different ways that exorcism goes down. When it actually happens the way that it should happen, and the person is released and everybody is able to go home and live their life, it all happens at the same fucking time. The people at the church know when to stop praying. The people in the house know when to be quiet. The pastor in the house that's blessing it says that's enough. And everybody in the room walks out in single file. It is the most amazing thing to actually witness, because it is. It shows that kind of connectivity, and it shows the use, going back into the main topic, it shows the use of invoking and evoking in a constant cycle, using one to fuel the other on a constant cycle. Which brings me to my next question, and that is, you can evoke to invoke and you can invoke to evoke. So other than exorcism, what are some examples that people could probably put these two together in a way that, they normally practice or they normally do things? That way we can kind of make it a little bit more approachable.
The example that I regularly use is spirit guides. Is that I have a sigil that I have for the ones I want to talk to. So it's essentially that's a metaphysical representation of their name. And you can use that in place of name too. It's like, hey, when I use this, I'm calling you. It's like having your phone and dialing up. I want to dial up Marty because Marty's a really good mechanic. He can tell me what's wrong with the car. Well, if I need a spirit guy that's in this particular area of expertise, I grab his sigil and I dial him up. And I call him forth to my location. I don't want him inside of the meat soup. No, that's a no. But you can be here and we can talk. Like a pendulum would be something you could call him to the location for. You could draw a circle around it, put the sigil for that entity there. Use a pendulum for it, so that way it's swinging it and you're not. So you're not becoming the battery for it. That would be like a regular everyday example of what somebody could do. Crossroads deal, that's one that you see in movies very often. That's absolutely doing that. You are gathering items, which is an offering. That's when you reduce it down. That's what it is. You're saying, I am offering you what you request in your for your presence to be made, and it can accept or deny the request.
So, utilizing something that most people are probably familiar with, the typical Christian thing where, you pray over the food.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, we blah, 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 blah. Would that,
Grace.
yeah. But like specifically when they're referring to, you bless this food, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Would that technically then be evocation and
Yes.
invocation at the same time?
Yes. Because you're also consuming that which got called forth. So you're actually making that part of you.
Yep. The prayer itself would be the invocation, but sharing the meal is the evocation.
Because you called forth the spirit of grace to go make this food happy and good. So it's now, you called it forth, it's now invoked into the food because you called it into the food. And then you're ingesting said food, so then you make it part of you. It's a cycle. It's a circle.
It's a circle.
There's no square, there's no corners. It's a circle.
All these circles.
Pass the bread and salt the meat. It all looks good. Good God, let's eat. you know.
And then you're doing magic.
Well, I mean, there was a bigger focus on Christian mysticism long ago, and it kind of got choked out through the years. But there was a much bigger focus on. I mean, and if you think about it, the entirety of most Judeo-Christian religions or Abrahamic religions, the whole thing is about battles between the angels and demons. I mean, there's a whole spiritual aspect that gets ignored in a lot of modern day churches. They ignore that. Y'all realize that's in your book, right? That's like their whole stick. Y'all are ignoring that, completely ignoring that.
Well, I mean, it's interesting, you know, the whole understanding of exorcism and battling demons to begin with was a Jesus thing. It was an apostles thing. You know, yes, people did it before them, but they were the ones that actually showed that men could do that.
Mhm.
And I always found that kind of interesting myself because that was one of the biggest things that, you know, Big J did when he rolled into a town was literally cast out demons. This is not your home. This is not for you. This is, you know, sacred and sanctified now. This is consecrated ground. Get the fuck out. You know.
And that's part of what you're doing with the person too, is that you're trying to remind them that they are an image bearer, and that if you already have a prior agreement, that can't really be undone. So and that's what you're doing. You're reminding them that they have the power to kick it out.
Mhm.
Now, you as the person that's removing it can also make it get out, because you can force it out. But when you have both sides working on it, where you convince the person that they are able to do it with you, then it's a lot easier.
There's less likelihood of them calling it back too.
Hmm.
It's one thing if someone else can do it for you and, you know, evict that spirit. It's another thing if you do it for yourself and realize. So it's an interesting relationship that the facilitator of the exorcism, and notice how I'm putting that.
Facilitator of the exorcism.
Yeah, because there's different forms of exorcism, but they're only Catholic exorcists. That's the thing that needs to be understood, at least as far as the way things currently work in our day and age. That's the reason why you'll find a lot of us say that we're demonologists, or we work with attachment removal, things like that. But that is the reason why is the Vatican said no to people that were not Vatican doing the Vatican thing. So
Yeah.
But this is our club. Fuck off.
and
I need 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
and then promptly dipped out on, you know,
Doing
Vatican.
the thing.
Yes. And that's not me Christian bashing.
No, that was a press release beginning of last year.
Yep.
And I don't think that they've recalled it yet.
They have not.
But so, I mean, that's actually something you can look into if you're interested, is the new requirements for exorcism,
It's
which
pretty brutal.
it's pretty rough because it's very lenient as far as they can literally change their mind halfway through the exorcism.
Yeah, it literally in the battle, in the fight, and if the priest literally goes, "No, I'm not into it."
Sorry about that.
No, no,
can
you're
walk.
fine.
It wasn't the Shatakin, it was that. But that was perfect timing of the Vatican. I was like, yeah, I need to take care of something.
Well, I'm leaving. But
And the new pope's got a lot of different stances than the previous pope. The last pope was like, cool, we like to drink beer and chill. The new beer's a little more uptight. New pope's not, again, he's just a different guy, but he's a little different than the previous pope.
So it may change again. They may issue a new press release and they may change their minds.
could, you
They
know,
could.
Francis was a lot different than the new guy because the new guy's actually American.
Well, technically, but he was raised in a different country.
I just find that really interesting. I don't necessarily think this is going to be an America fuck yeah situation, but
I
that's just
seriously
me.
doubt that it'll be that.
Exactly.
America.
Fuck yeah. So we were talking about, you know, the Vatican's position, and we're not going to get heavy into that, but we were talking about the Vatican's position and
Suffice to say, they're not approving an exorcism unless it's absolutely the most dire possible thing anymore. Even before, they had the right approach, mental health evaluation. They had all these steps to prevent feeding into a delusion that was medical and not spiritual.
Yep, which we totally agree with. It's the fact that at this point, they can scrutinize and uproot someone's entire life for the sake of the investigation for an exorcism, approve it, start the process, be in the middle of it, and go, nah, I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Or the church can go, nah, you don't, never mind, we changed our mind.
We found something in the deep dark that, we don't agree with.
So they can
Even
literally.
even in the paper, it lists out if you're not Catholic, you ain't touch it.
Yep. And even if you are Catholic, if they find out that you weren't a good enough Catholic, tough shit.
So
Yeah, I was really surprised by reading that. I was like, really? That's a
Yeah,
stance to take.
they really kind of, F the puppy on that one. But so thinking about that,
effing the puppy.
well, technically, technically, everybody boos. But no, if you're in the middle of, the evoke back and forth of exorcism, because it's one of the best examples for cycling the two. If you're in the middle of that and you abruptly stop it, you just quit. What happens? What's going to happen?
Well, depending upon the situation, it could go south really quickly. I'm not saying it's like antibiotic resistance, but that's the best thing I can use to equate it, because it's not, find the right word for it. You've created a future problem because the next time there may be more fight back because they know what you're going to do and may fight dirtier. And again, we're using the most extreme far out example here, but again, it's more for people to be able to relate the picture from something that they know from, popular culture.
Right.
Here at Spirit Mechanics, we like to teach through pop culture.
It's the easiest medium too, because everybody's seen movies or watched TV or seen certain cartoons or listened to certain music. Everybody has some kind of media related knowledge, so it's a lot easier to relate through that. Well, here's a prime example, but is very cartoon or very Hollywood or very this.
Sleep Token.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Sleep Token is also, hilariously enough, if you're wanting to look at music, they are also a example of invoking and evoking. Their whole shtick is, as the name suggests, they are followers, worshipers of an ancient god known as Sleep, who is an eldritch type being that constantly dreams. And because they dream, we're able to live. And the songs that are written about different situations in life and different positions and stances, but it's all written in the form of hymn. They intentionally did that so that they could actually constantly be in worship with Sleep while giving praise with their audience.
And the
So,
songs are offerings, tokens
right.
of their worship.
Literally. Even to the point of, their last album, Take Me Back to Eden, everybody's favorite song, the one that made them famous, not the one you think, but the summoning itself is literally about that. That's the whole point of it. He's calling out to his God, like, lusting for a female partner. It's an interesting way of viewing it. Um, and by the way, if you haven't sleep token. You know, it's good for you.
It's good for you.
It's good for you to help the body too. You know, it's just good stuff.
I found a new one today. Epitaph of Time.
Yeah, I saw you share it online on the page.
They only have 7 songs out. They just started releasing songs last month, and they're a brand new band out of the UK.
Oh, that explains that.
That makes sense. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we listened to the song that you had posted.
It's good.
Yeah, Remember Me is a really good one. It's got a disclaimer on it for reasons, but it's nothing showing it. It's just the content of the song. It's a really really good song though.
Of course. Another, for those of you that don't metal or new age hard rock, going way, way back in the Wayback Machine, you know, y'all remember Spirit in the Sky.
Yes.
Spirit in the Sky was another interpretation
Spirit in the sky.
of invoking and evoking the quote unquote spirit in the sky, their understanding of God. My Sweet Lord, George Harrison, where he was wanting to relate to God and understand God because he knew that God was there with him. And literally, it was a love song. I want to be with you. I want to see you. I really want to know you the whole time. And it was him invoking and evoking at the same time because he was calling out, the words were coming from him, Holy
And-
Spirit or whatever.
Well, that
So
devil
I-
went down to Georgia. Like he
Yeah.
drew his band across, made an evil hiss, and a band of demons joined in. So he was calling them forth to join the battle.
Yep. I mean, there's all kinds of it in music.
I mean, even if you want to get, into more of the movies and TV show sides of things, like Moon Knight is a solid example. I just watched it and it was really good. So if anybody hasn't, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's fucking dope and you should watch it. Anyway,
I think
That
that's
is a
the first
classic.
episode.
That is a symbiotic invocation.
It is. Moon Knight is given particular abilities because of a particular situation. And look, it's not spoiling the series.
It's been out for years.
Essentially,
If you haven't at least heard of it by now, I mean, spoiler alert. We'll give you 3, 2, 1. All right, you've been spoiler alerted.
it's literally. So essentially, Mark, the main character, Mark, is possessed by a Egyptian spirit named Khonshu, who is an actual Egyptian figure. He is a god of the moon. Get it? Moon Knight or whatever. So the big thing here is he is delivering divine justice. That's Moon Knight's particular shtick. And it kind of goes sideways from there, as you would imagine. It's a Marvel production. And if you haven't read the comics, I suggest doing it because they're fucking amazing. But it is, Davis had mentioned it, and I'll let him go into more detail about it. But it's literally an invoking and then an evoking, and then constantly going in a cycle. Because as Khonshu is called in, Moon Knight is given different strengths, different powers, different abilities that he can outwardly use.
we do
That's
have
where
a
that's what we talked about, where it's a symbiotic relationship, where it's not a negative, what can be, but it's a mostly positive relationship. Mostly.
Mostly.
So one of the questions that was asked was, can you explain what a symbiotic invocation means?
So what that would be is that if for invocations where you're calling something inside yourself, so think an outside entity, deity, something like that. A symbiotic would be where you're calling Christ in your heart. You're wanting to live with his strength. That is an invocation where it's symbiotic. Let's say
So a
that
divine being of
that
some
would be
form or
one.
fashion.
Okay.
Your
That would be one.
understanding.
Yeah, some deity of any kind, that would be the same. That would be partly that, because it's you are communing with them. That becomes a communal space. In which case, that if you're doing proper worship, they may grant you some boon.
It's similar to if you're looking at Christian understanding. I take the Spirit into myself. As Davis said, I call God or Jesus into my heart. I allow, and one of the biggest ones, at least in the Methodist Church and some of the Baptists, was, "May God come and dwell within me."
Okay, that makes sense.
It's a big thing, because at that point you're living in, at least the way that they describe it, you're living in the presence of God on a constant basis.
This is your body is a
So
temple. That's why they refer to it as a temple, because that is where he comes and dwells.
makes sense. So then would symbiotic evocation be something along the lines of, laying hands for a healing purpose? Like,
They would still be
no.
using you would still be using the invoked ability for that.
Okay.
The
A
symbiosis is more for the invocation side of it than the evocation, since it's the directional call.
Okay.
Technically, if you wanted to look at a symbiotic evocation, that would be more of your familiars, or your lower realm guides, or
Good point.
those kinds of things, because they're outside of you.
And you're
You're
forming a long-term relationship with them. That'd be like
that.
like a friend, because that's a good point. Like Puka, your spirit guides or familiars, that would fall under, because they're your friends. That is an external symbiotic relationship that you have, like any friends that you have in in real life.
So if you're like, hey, I want to go get some lunch or something, and like you call your friend up, technically you're doing
Yeah,
major.
what do? Hey, Bill. Hey, Bob. You're invoking their name via a conduit.
The phone.
The phone.
This is your link, which is connected to them.
Pretty much.
What's
and
actually
and
really
then
kinda
you
funny.
can literally evoke their presence to the restaurant down the street.
We're having wings. I'll be right there. That is a way that you could think of it. That functionally, that's what it is.
First one to get up pays fucking dinner.
That's it. Yo, it's a symbiotic relationship because you're always mine. It's
Cool. So that's actually something that's, literally an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we try to use the analogy. Is probably one of the biggest ways that we teach, is because that's what people can relate to, and we don't want to be talking in riddles or, I'm a mountain man sage, and I'll tell you, Billy, about the way it happened back when I was a kid. And we don't want to do that, because then you can't relate to it. We want to make sure that what we're saying, you can relate to what we're saying. So we say something outlandish, it could be because we want to be funny, or we're trying to, help it click to go, this is what we're talking about. This is something you do in your everyday life that can relate it. And that's all that
Absolutely.
the spirit is reflection of, whether you're in the astral plane, whichever plane you happen to be. It's oftentimes a mirror of other worlds. So there's a reflection of them here and a reflection of you there. It's all tied together.
Mike said, so evoking is calling to me, invoking is calling into me or a space. Got it.
Well,
Thanks.
you can evoke it into a space. If it goes directly inside of you, inside of where your space is, that would be where the invoke line is.
So, giving you guys an example, at least, especially for Mike, and for the two of you, evoking something would be when we remove an attachment and we use the jar.
Okay.
We
That would
are
be a very good
evoking.
example.
Do
They're
what?
calling it forth and then into.
We are evicting.
And then evoking into the jar. That's the reason why it's not allowed to leave. It is an evocation. This is where you stay.
And that's why, because there's certain things, could be a sigil or a ward or a seal that's on the jar that makes it stay.
'Tis why we use the jars we use. Because them's got some spell work and shit in them.
Yay!
Things like the boom bone.
Whereas invoking would be more on for Mike. So evoking would be stay in this stone, stay in this jar, stay in this space. Whereas invoking would be I'm taking nature into myself. I'm calling on Mother Gaia. I'm calling on the Green Man. You know, you're doing the druid shit where you're drawing nature to you and letting it flow through you. That's invoking. You're welcoming it into yourself.
And if people brought their string and their stone, we could show an example of it if they did.
Yeah. If you guys remember, Mr. Davis offered to show you guys a little bit of something if he brought a string and a stone of some kind. If you did, drop in the comments that you did, and he'll go ahead and show you a quick little metaphysical science experiment that
And this may be
will show you.
covered, may or may not be covered in the 300 class.
Cough, cough,
Cough, cough.
cough, cough.
And for those of you concerned about it being, like any kind of string, it can literally be any kind of string for this moment.
Thread, yarn, rope, paracord, does not matter.
Nope.
This is simply representational work. And that's what a lot of things that when you look at high ceremonial magic, that's what it is. It's representational. This represents my desire. This represents my will. This represents my conscious state. This represents my outcome. I gather these items of ritual to bring myself at peace, to get into a certain mindset to perform an action. The same as that people that before that they perform, they will go and take a breath, relax. They have some ritual they do, like in sports especially, you'll see that where they have, I've got to wear my lucky socks. Okay, I can't change my underwear when I'm in season. If I listen to this song, I know I'm going to win the game. Those are all rituals to prepare yourself to get into that headspace to do something.
Yup.
I don't have any thread close to me, so I'm literally going to use this cord.
There you go.
So what do we need for this?
You need a string, cord, rope,
Here you go.
yarn, and
Just-
a stone of some kind.
You got a stone?
No.
You know, a quarter works too.
I got a quarter.
Yeah, you can
There
use
you go.
you can use loose change. I do all the time.
I got a quarter.
I use toothpicks. By the way,
They all
that's what
work.
I'm doing.
You just make a circle with your cord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it stoical.
And then it doesn't can be oblong. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle unless you know you're Maynard Kingdom. Then it has to be a perfect circle.
But
it just has to be. It just has to actually cross.
Yeah, that's it. That's
So for
probably
those
still
of you-
debatable too.
yeah, you guys can use a phone charger. You can use anything. It doesn't matter as long as you have some kind of representation of a circle.
And the purpose of this is to get your mind state into what you're doing. The cord doesn't do shit. It's understanding what it represents to get your headspace into that.
Psst, that's the space that you're calling shit to.
Yep.
I have glue and bones. I was not prepared.
Glue and bones.
That would be April. Yeah, I'm literally using a broken webcam
Yeah.
because
What it represents is what's important. What it is irrelevant. Now, there are certain works that do require specific things. I'm not saying in every case that is it, but in the vast majority of cases, unless you're dealing with some specific high ceremonial work, the items don't really matter. In high ceremonial work, it's typically if you're trying to bargain with some deity or entity, then they're going to want it, it's their way right away. So if you don't do it their way, then they could be like, piss off.
Renee said I got my yarn and a stone.
There
And
you go.
yeah,
Yep.
you can literally use anything that you can at least get your mind around as far as the circle And something small, quarter.
Yeah,
Yep.
loose change will work. A stone of some kind will work.
Got a necklace. Yep, that'll do.
Necklace is a perfect one 'cause a lot of people wear those. There you go. You got your, and here's the thing. You have a portable circle.
Yep.
Anytime you want to do a working, you've got one, which is why they're very often used for protection.
I'm
Same
just
thing
not
with
using that.
rings. What is a ring? The circle-y thing. That's a
Oh,
much
that's
smaller
where it
space to
went.
work with, but you can do it.
How big a piece do you need?
Just,
Oh yeah.
and I will actually let you sit up here
Doesn't
so that
need-
you can do this exercise.
Yep. And actually, you can take my seat because I need to excuse myself.
Upstairs.
Yep.
This isn't going to take long. This isn't complicated. This is not 100 steps.
Nope. Do you want
This
us
is
to
what-
tie the?
Nope, don't care. You're just basically making a circle with it because this is a representational space.
I'm gonna tie mine just out of.
Out of
There you
caution.
Yeah. Well,
And that's why I like yoga mats and roll up mats like that, because then you can draw everything on it and you can just roll it up when you're done.
yep. You can even use electrical tape if you really need.
Mhm.
It's whatever you got that you can make work. Because that's honestly, at the end of the day, a lot of what this ends up being, at least as far as if you're not doing, high ceremonial stuff like what Davis just mentioned. It's literally using what it is that you got to create a desired effect.
Mhm. There you go.
So, everybody got your string and your other item, loose change, stone, etc.
Well, I mean, she had bones. I mean, bones work.
Yeah, you can make rounds work.
I got a big stick.
That's what she said.
Alrighty,
You
so
open
we
the
got
door
our
for
circle.
that one, man.
Shit.
Place
What
it on the
now?
table. Put it on the table.
Put it on the table.
Put it in the frame. Put your object in the middle of it.
All right, we'll give you all a couple seconds to catch up. So lay whatever it is that you got, your yarn, your necklace, your cord, etc., on the table, and place the other object that you have, stone, loose change, whatever it is that you're using for this example, placed in the middle. All righty. What's up next, sir?
All right. So what we're going to do, think about something that makes you calm. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I can't tell you, because what makes somebody calm? Some people think the smell of flowers, the smell of bread. Some people think that taking a bike ride, whatever that thought is that makes you calm, that's what you want to focus on.
Okay.
All right. You're going to keep that thought. So right now we are invoking that feeling. So that we're doing an invocation. We're calling it in ourselves. Then we're going to call it forth from ourselves into that object. So this is where we're going to keep that memory in our head, that thought that makes us feel calm. We're going to place our hands on the stone.
So with that image and feeling in mind, place whichever hand that you want. Does it matter if it's receiving
Nope.
or projective
Doesn't matter.
onto the object in the center of the circle?
Yep.
Does it matter if your hand is over the circle?
Nope.
Cool.
Just touching the object in the center of it. And
Okay,
then,
with that same calming in mind.
yes, whatever that calm feeling that's whatever is causing that, you're going to focus on that feeling and imagine it kind of like rolling like water down your arm onto the stone.
Okay.
And when you feel like that stone feels like that feeling, you can just release the stone. Just let it go. Now, after you do that, think of something that makes you anxious. and then pick the stone up from the circle and see how it affects you that state. So by us taking it from ourselves and putting it into the stone, we now have a place to invoke it into ourselves from an external source. We're basically charging that battery for later, like a worry stone. You can take your worry, put it in the stone, or you can have something happy in the stone and pull it into you. Direction of movement.
You're creating your own talisman.
Okay, so it's basically like what we do with our jewelry and stuff when we start putting stuff into it that we draw upon it,
Yep.
like rings and necklaces and stuff.
Yep.
Okay, that
that's-
explains it.
That's literally what we're doing. He's just showing you a step by step.
This is
Okay,
the watered down, most basic version of it. We go deeper in it in the 300 class about different methodologies to do it and some of the more mechanics of how it works. But this is the stripped down version. If you take all the extra steps out of it, this is the exact thing you're doing. And Pat's been in the class. You've seen it.
Yeah.
This is just a
I have.
reduced, simpler version of exactly the same thing.
Oh, it 100% is. It's actually a great tester too, and a teaser for anybody that is curious about taking Davis's 300 level class. And just as a reminder for the 300 level classes, it is recommended that you take the 100s and 200s first, just so it's not a super slog of information and you actually know what's kind of going on. But in these particular cases, for the 3 classes we're going to be teaching, correct me if I'm wrong, they are not required. It's
They're-
just really recommended.
They're not required. It's just really recommended. Davis's class would be the one that would need it the most. It's highly recommended that you do the 1 and 200s. That way you understand connectivity, you understand the approach to energy, things like that. But it's not necessary. You don't
But
have
it
to
is a lot of
have,
information.
right.
You will be doing the vast majority of the class. It's probably 15, 20 minutes of theory, and then the remainder of time is work.
Yeah, Davis is a super heavy workshop. Mine and Steve's is a mix of both.
cool, can't wait. Because I'm making Davis's this time. I missed it the first time because I got taken out of town.
Fucking Ohio.
Fucking Ohio.
Wow.
But but yeah, the way things are currently looking is, we'll be able to do all 3. There may be a wonky schedule for that Saturday. It may be a little bit earlier in the day than in late afternoon. Selfish reasons for that. But other than that, it's probably going to be the same as it usually is. 7 o'clock on Friday, 3 o'clock on Sunday, and then probably closer to right after lunchtime on Saturday.
Yeah. Or potentially, 2 classes on Sunday.
We'll see and let y'all know.
Yeah. It depends on certain schedules. But does anybody in the comments have any questions about the exercise that we just did?
And can you put in there how it affected you?
Yes. Please let us know. How did the calming work? Clearly mine worked pretty solidly because I just yawned and
Tyree's in contemplation. So
That is true.
so
All I know is this makes it easier than instead of sitting there holding your object in your hand trying to project into it.
yeah. And so the dates for classes are going to be September 12th, 13th, and 14th in some form or fashion. Right now, the way that we're running things is every second weekend of the month, we're doing classes, trying to do 100s and then 1 month, 200s the next month, and then 300s the third month, and then skip a month, take a break, and then reset.
yep. So we're gonna go around.
And we will offer both inline,
Wow. Online.
and in person. So the warding class will probably be mostly online, but if you would like to do it here at the shop as well, we'll have the Discord up on the screen so that you can absolutely participate. But that will be an option for you.
Absolutely.
All of the other classes you can take online or in person.
Yep.
It shouldn't affect anything as far as knowledge, especially the way that we have the classes set up.
We've been trying, as we've been building these classes and going back over them and refining them, we've been trying to make sure that regardless of whether you're here with us or you're doing it on video, you get the same experience. You get the same amount of attention. You get the same knowledge. So
You also participate in the workshop.
absolutely.
Just because you're online doesn't mean you're not going to participate.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, and we wait for you.
We
Yes,
do.
It's not,
Yes,
it's not
we do.
optional. That's why the class is scheduled. I think mine's like an hour and a half, 2 hours, because of the amount of time to make sure that every single person is able to do it, understand it, and ask questions about it.
Yep. The entities and attachments is somewhere between 2 and 3. Wouldn't about there.
About there.
And
Usually for discussion and questions.
Yep.
Is why that one takes a little while. We go over the basic, what everybody would typically run into kind of stuff. And then if there are any questions about different types of entities or if things need to be discussed a little bit, then we do.
And the SciVamp class takes about the same for similar reasons, partially also just depending on how many people are in the class itself. That can lengthen some of our classes just because it's, a couple of additional people to experience what it is that we have going on. But it's really important to each one of us to make sure that every single person that signs up for that class has their own experience.
Yep. It's a safe bet to go ahead and bank on about 2 hours per class. Whatever it is that you are going to take, regardless of which mechanic or grouping of mechanics is teaching it, you can bank on at least 2 hours.
Yep,
It looks like Russell and Renee had a positive experience from it.
it does. Renee said it was amazing. It felt like I was by my favorite tree. I could smell the pine trees. And Russ said it was cool. I could feel the ocean waves.
And that's why we do it this way, is because every person has their own thing that makes them feel certain ways. So that's why you need to make what makes you happy. Same with any other talisman. And we actually make a talisman in it for certain purposes, and you have to choose what associates that particular thing with you.
Yep. So as far as invocation and evocation, this is a really great teaser for some of the classes coming up. If you have any additional questions, please just let us know. And hopefully we'll see you all next week for divination.
Yep. If you have any questions for Mr. Davis, all you have to do is get with us here on Spirit Mechanics, or go to spiritmechanics.com, put in a question there, or send a email.
Yep.
And we'll make sure that he gets it. If you have any questions for the rest of us, or if you would like a reading from any of us, all you have to do is the same. Put in a request. We'll take care of you. And again, for those who are local or feel like making the trip, you can find a lot of us, including this one, at the Central Kentucky Mystical Market coming up this weekend. It will be 11 to 6 both days, at least for mechanics, because we never make it out on time. Let's call it what it is. So if you pull up to the event and everybody's like, hey, it's 5 o'clock, we're leaving, you can say that you're there to see us and there's not going to be an issue.
Sunday we may ask for you to push it off to, message us or whatever, depending. But that's just if we're getting kicked out.
Usually, yeah.
But
last ones to show up and last ones to leave.
Yeah. No
Jesus,
kidding.
The way it works.
which we will also have a sign-up sheet outside of the booth this month. We do have a closed door now that we have the option to shut. So for those clients that do need the privacy, we are doing that. So because of that, we have started implementing a sign-up sheet outside of the door. Just sign your name up. Let us know what it is that you're looking for. If you have a specific mechanic that you're wanting to work with, just write that out. And please do keep in mind that the times that we have listed on our price sheet are averages. Sometimes it takes that exact amount of time with a client. Some people need a little bit less, and some people need longer. So please be patient with us. We're trying to make sure that everybody gets the best work that we can give possible, and that includes you. So if it takes a little longer with the person in front of us or the front of you, you may need that same amount of time.
And if you would like to schedule an appointment, we do a lot of walk-ins, but if you would like to schedule an appointment with any of us, including Mr. Tyree, for Stevens Healing Vibrations.
Still in healing vibrations?
Hey, you know what this was. You stole my heart. You devil.
He did. Look at guys. We got to show off Tyree's shirt for a second because he did. He walked up to the car today and he was like,
I'm
was
wearing
so-
my I'm wearing my hero.
"It's so cute, guys."
He did. I was like, no way, because I forgot that those shirts were made so many years ago, and it was the most hilarious shit in the world because I was looking at that and Brian was like, make the head bigger because at the time it was proportionate to the Batman body, and make the head bigger. It's got to be bobblehead Steve. So we went with that, and then the old school Spirit Mechanics logo, and he did. He walked right up to the car. And he's like, "I'm wearing my hero today," and I'm
It
like,
was
"Oh
so
my
wholesome.
God."
Like, it was so fucking sweet, guys. So you did. You stole his heart today.
You did.
Aw.
It's touching.
And speaking of that, we hope that we have touched on a couple of things that you may or may not have known about. And if you have any additional questions, let us know.
Absolutely. But
We're hither, thither, and yonder.
Yes.
And all the way through. So, but if you would like appointments with us, we are taking appointments here at the shop, but you got to let us know we need to be here.
Yes.
Biggest reason why is during the week, especially, schedules are not very accommodating. So we have to make sure that we're able to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you get a hold of the shop itself, the missing elements. You can get all of us here on Facebook. You can get us on Instagram, I believe. You can get us on
Facebook safest.
the YouTubes.
You can't get us on the YouTube. You can get us via email. We're lots of places.
You can also get us here on Spirit Mechanics. You can get a hold of Mr. Tyree through us as well, through his own stuff and through the shop. But let us know if you want to see any of us at a particular time during any of the events we're at, or if you would like to see us throughout the week. We just got to know when we need to be here and if we can make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
But we're hoping that you guys had some fun tonight. Hopefully, with Mr. Davis's help, we were able to kind of break things down and help you guys understand the definitions and how things work. It's big fancy words for very simple processes, at least as far as understanding them. Technically, as far as doing them too. It's just if you kind of step out of the boundaries of what is stupid and not, that's when you kind of reap what you sow. But hopefully we're making this make sense to you guys, and you guys are getting some fun and some education out of it. Any final thoughts, Mr. Davis?
Nope, I'm good for tonight. I had a good time, and we'll do this again soon. Another
Thanks for
topic.
joining.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
And we'll be seeing you guys this weekend. And as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And remember that those that have the power to change themselves have the power to change the world around themselves. Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Love you.
Be excellent to each other.